Thank you for taking the time with us, and we're going to talk about the Infiniti Q inspiration concept. It's Infiniti's new sedan design concept. So first off, I just want to ask, it looks like you guys have done some unique packaging with this car.
It's got a pretty short hood for a car of that segment. It's kind of an E-segment vehicle, so quite a big car. And usually cars in that segment have a pretty long hood and a pretty short cabin that's quite rearwards. Here we did exactly the opposite. There's a pretty compact engine, and it allows for a lot of power, although it is compact because of the whole variable compression thing, but I won't go and get into that. If you have that, then it really doesn't make much sense to have a long hood, although that's usually what you do to have, that's, let's say, the easier way to get a very elegant, long, sleek silhouette to a car. And by having a long cabin, there's a bit of a challenge there. How do you make it look sporty? How do you make it look elegant? How do you make it look muscular? How do you create balance? And yeah, that's what we did, and we tried a few different things, and in the end we came up with that, and I think it's kind of okay.
With your variable compression engine, it let you kind of rethink the grille. Like, you haven't lost it completely, but you added like those inlets, sort of the grille slats. So I thought that was a very interesting concept. So like, as Infiniti is progressing, as you guys are looking into these new technologies, how is that influencing like your design stages, and how are you guys like going about in the design side of things, preparing for the future and sort of anticipating that?
Well, I mean, it plays at a lot of levels. I mean, personally, I really believe that like good industrial design is when you respect the technology that's down there. It's what makes it maybe different from styling, right? You try and understand the technology and you design around that. And you're mentioning the grille. The grille has to do maybe with, today it's obviously about air intake. And in the future, if you have maybe engines that don't need as much air, or if you're going EV, you don't need that. So what do you do with it? How do you still create a face? What kind of graphics do you have in the front? And the other aspect, which we haven't really talked about, but is going to be more and more important in the future, is when you start going towards autonomous driving, what kind of sensors do you have? Do you have a laser scanner? Do you have a radar? How do you place those things? How does that change the overall graphics, not only in the front, but also in the side? So that's really going to be, I think, a pretty important thing in the future.
And with autonomy, you guys talked about how you have the, I believe it's called ProPilot, the semi-autonomous system, and that's part of this car. Yes. But how that influenced the interior. If you just want to like go over how you sort of rethought, like, okay, if someone has more time, sort of relaxed in the car, what are they going to be doing?
I think as a designer to design the interior of a car not just as a car. Sometimes it has to be a cockpit when it needs to be, when you're driving, but it also can be a living room when you're not driving. And it's it's what we're going through right now, to trying to figure out how much are you doing and what's right for each brand. In the case of Infiniti, where we believe sort of that the driver or the passenger is still very much the most important thing, we still want to keep that focus. So that's going to be sort of what we're going to be looking into future.
Do you feel like you have a personal responsibility at Infiniti to make sure that there's like some fun still to be had, or how are you like looking at how to keep that balance of like sportiness and fun, but with this advancing technology? How do you find that balance, and how do you pursue it?
It's like the people inside, the humans, the users inside are the most important thing. You want that to still remain, at least as a designer, I want that to still remain the focus of why we do what we do. We're not just designing machines for the sake of designing machines. There's no need for that. There's a need for a certain experience when you step into an Infiniti that it gives you something back that hopefully improves your life. Whether it improves your life because it's nice, because it's comfortable, because it's well done, or because the connectivity is really good. So I think that all plays together. So the human focus of the brand is going to remain essential. Always looking at the big picture, as a designer, in this case doing a sedan, I find there's opportunities in that. Because a sedan today doesn't have to be, or in the future maybe, I don't know, but doesn't have to be everything to everybody. I think you pick a sedan today because you like the way it looks, you like the way it feels, you like the way it drives. So it's kind of I don't want to say lifestyle choice, but maybe it's going more and more that way. The way maybe you chose a coupe in the past, maybe you choose a sedan today.